All right, everyone. Let's dive right in, shall we? Have you ever completely bought into something utterly bonkers purely because it sounded legit? Like, seriously? Growing up, my aunt was convinced I'd wreck my eyesight if I sat too close to the TV. And me? Little me would obediently shuffle back, genuinely thinking I was one episode of cartoons away from needing a guide dog. Spoiler alert. That is not a thing. Today we're peeling back the layers on 10 of these wild facts that somehow keep tripping us up, even though they're dead wrong. We're talking about everything from stuff your relatives swore by to internet whispers. We will tackle these myths head on with some science, a few laughs, and maybe a touch of what if, just for fun. So grab your drink and settle in. It won't hurt your eyes, promise. And let's get this myth-busting party started. 10. Sitting too close to the TV ruins your eyes. Okay, let's kick things off with that classic nag from my aunt. The sitting too close to the TV will ruin your eyes warning. Man, I'd be glued to the screen, practically nose to glass, watching my Saturday morning shows. And bam, her voice would cut through, "Get back! You'll go blind." I'd reluctantly inch away, genuinely believing I was flirting with disaster if I didn't. But here's the actual scoop. That's completely untrue. I looked into this, and experts agree that sitting super close for ages might make your eyes feel tired, like binge-watching a whole season in one go, but it doesn't cause permanent damage or ruin your vision. This myth goes way back to the 1960s when some old color TVs emitted a tiny bit of radiation, which was a concern, but modern screens? Fine. I picture myself as a kid, perched miles away, squinting to see what was happening, thinking I was doing my future self a favor. Nope, just missing the details. So honestly, sit where you can see best. Remember to blink occasionally. Number 9, you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Next up is one I was borderline obsessive about, the idea that you must chug 8 glasses of water daily to be healthy. I carried this massive water bottle everywhere, constantly sipping away, as my survival depended on hitting that magic number. I'd mentally track it. Okay, 3 glasses down at school, only 5 more to go. It felt like some hydration marathon, but guess what? Total myth. This 8 glasses idea came from an ancient recommendation in the 1940s and was misunderstood entirely. The original advice said your body needed about 2 liters, roughly 8 glasses. Still, that amount included water from all sources, soups, fruits like oranges, or even that iced tea you had. There isn't some universal quota everyone must meet. How much water you need changes based on things like how active you are, the weather, or, how thirsty you feel. Some days, I'm drinking like I'm trying to extinguish a small fire. Other days, I barely touch my water bottle, and I'm still feeling perfectly okay. Your body is pretty good at telling you when it needs a drink. So ditch the water counting stress. Listen to your body, drink when you're thirsty, and you'll be golden. Number 8. Cracking your knuckles leads to arthritis. Moving on to one that caused friction in my family, the dreaded cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis. My brother used to pop his knuckles constantly, and my mom would lose it. "You're going to have terrible arthritis before you're 20, she'd warn while he just sat there smirking and cracked another joint. I honestly watched him, half convinced he'd have stiff, creaky hands by the time he was 30. But here's the reality check. That's not how it works. I've checked, and scientists have studied this. There is zero proven link between cracking your knuckles and developing arthritis. That popping sound you hear, it's just tiny gas bubbles, like nitrogen, quickly collapsing within the joint fluid, like mini sonic booms in your fingers. One dedicated doctor cracked the knuckles on one hand for over 50 years and found no difference in arthritis levels between his hands. Arthritis is far more about genetics, age, or past joint injuries, not this harmless popping habit. I can picture my brother now, hearing this, cracking his knuckles dramatically in front of Mom and saying, "See? I told you I was fine." So crack away if you find it satisfying. Maybe do it away from sensitive ears. Number 7, bats can't see a thing. You've probably heard that saying, blind as a bat, right? I grew up picturing bats flailing around in the dark, bumping into walls like, "Whoa, pardon me, lamppost." But that mental image, it's completely wrong. Bats are not blind. They have perfectly functional eyes. Some species, particularly those that eat fruit or nectar, rely heavily on their vision to navigate and find food, like spotting a ripe mango against the night sky. Like a built-in sonar system, many bats use echolocation to expertly navigate and hunt in the dark. But that's an additional superpower, not proof they can't see. It's like they have excellent night vision and sonar. I picture a bat cruising through a dense forest, thinking, okay, I see that juicy moth with my eyes, but let's get a sonar lock too. Bingo. This myth likely started simply because bats are most active at night, leading people to assume they must be blind. But trust me, bats are hunting with serious precision. No eye doctor is needed in the bat world. Number 6. Ostriches hide by burying their heads. Okay, this next one is just fundamentally hilarious to picture. The idea that when an ostrich is scared, it shoves its head in the sand and thinks it's safe. I used to imagine an ostrich hearing a scary noise and saying, "Nope, can't deal. Head underground. Problem solved." As if not seeing the danger somehow makes you invisible to the threat. It's just a logic failure. But yeah, that's a total myth. Ostriches do not do this. They'd suffocate for starters, and they're not that clueless. What they do sometimes is lower their heads to the ground. They do this either to eat little bits off the ground or sometimes to tend to their eggs, which are laid in shallow nests dug in the dirt. From a distance, with their long neck stretched out, it might look like their head is buried, but they're, having a snack or being parental. Plus, ostriches have a way better defense mechanism. They can run like the wind. We're talking speeds up to 40 miles an hour. This myth probably originated in ancient times when people loved making up exaggerated stories about animals. I picture an ostrich spotting a lion and thinking, "Bury my head? Are you mad? I'm out of here." So yeah, let's lay off the ostriches. They're not hiding. They're just busy ground snacking or making a break for it. Number 5, the 5-second rule. Works for drop snacks. All right, confession time. I have absolutely 100% used this one in my life. The infamous 5-second rule. You drop a piece of food, let's say a sweet gummy bear, on the floor, and the logic is, if you snatch it up within 5 seconds, it's magically safe to eat, because germs haven't had enough time to crawl all over it. I've done this countless times. Fumble, drop, make a lightning-fast grab, maybe give it a quick blow and mutter, 5 seconds, we're good. But here's the cold, hard truth. That's completely false. I looked it up, and scientists who've tested this say germs and bacteria do not wait politely for 5 seconds. They can transfer to your food the instant it touches the floor. Nasty stuff like salmonella can latch on in milliseconds, especially if the surface is even remotely dirty. It's not like the floor has a little timer going, "All right, bacteria, 5 seconds on the clock, make your move." How much transfer depends on the surface, and the food is wet, but what about the idea of a safe time window? Bogus. I picture the germs on the floor laughing maniacally the moment my gummy bear lands, thinking, 5 seconds? Mate, we're already hosting a party up here. So grab a new snack unless you're feeling particularly adventurous. Number 4. Bulls charge at red because they hate it. Okay, this next one feels like something straight out of a cartoon. The idea that bulls get furious and charge specifically because they hate the color red. You see it in all the old movies and Matador clips. The bull sees the red cape and it just goes wild. I used to think, wow, red must be the ultimate insult to a bull. But here's the surprising truth. That's simply inaccurate. Bulls, like many other cattle, are colorblind to red and green. Their world is mainly seen in shades of gray, blue, and yellow. So, why do they charge the matador's cape if they can't properly see red? It's the rapid, provocative movement of the cape that agitates them, not its hue. The matador could be waving a bright pink cape, a striped cape, or even a plain white one, and the bull would react just the same if it were being whipped around like that. The reason bullfighters use red capes is purely traditional and handy. They also disguise bloodstains, a slightly grim detail. I picture a bull looking at the scene thinking, red? Whatever, just stop flapping that thing in my face. So if you happen to be wearing a red shirt near a bull, don't sweat the color. Whatever you do, don't start dramatically waving your arms. Number 3, frogs and toads give you warts. All right, here's one that made me recoil as a kid. The absolute conviction that if you touched a frog or a toad, you would immediately get warts. I remember being out near a pond during summer camp, spotting a little froggy friend, and one of the other kids instantly whispering, "Don't touch it, you'll get warts." I'd back away slowly, genuinely seeing the frog as a miniature wart-dispensing creature. But yeah, thankfully that's a myth. A virus causes warts, specifically types of the human papillomavirus, HPV, and you get them from contact with that virus, usually through breaks in your skin or contact with another infected person or surface. Frogs and toads might have bumpy or rough skin. Some have glands that can secrete irritating substances as a defense, but they are not carrying the human wart virus. They're just little amphibians doing their thing, hopping around, being a bit slimy. This myth probably started because some toads look warty and bumpy, so people just leaped, pun intended, and assumed they spread warts. I imagine a toad sitting there, completely bewildered, thinking, "Me? Give you warts? Nah, mate. Just trying to catch flies." So feel free to admire a frog or toad if you like. Maybe wash your hands afterward, purely because, they are slimy and live near the ground. Number 2, you can see the Great Wall of China from space. Okay, this one sounds so incredibly epic. The idea that the Great Wall of China, this colossal structure winding across thousands of miles, is so immense you can see it with your naked eye from space. It stretches for over 13,000 miles, about 21,000 kilometers. So astronauts could easily spot it from orbit. I always thought, man, that must be one incredible sight. But here's where the impressive image bumps into reality. That's a myth. I've seen astronauts, like the famous Chris Hadfield, confirm that you cannot see the Great Wall with the naked eye from low Earth orbit. It's too narrow and blends too well with the surrounding landscape. It's made of natural materials like stone and earth, remember? You can see things from space, sure. Immense structures like major highways, bridges, or big cities with their distinct patterns of lights at night are visible. But the Great Wall? Nope, it gets lost. This myth dates back a long time, to the 18th or 19th century, long before anyone had even been to space. People just assumed such a massive structure must be visible. I picture an astronaut squinting out the window, scanning the view and thinking, wait, is that the Great Wall? Nah, just a long ridge. Or maybe a road. So yeah, the Great Wall is unbelievably impressive, but you'll need to stay grounded to see it properly. Number 1, we only have 5 senses. All right, the last one on the list, and it's something we're all taught from a young age. We have 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. That was the definitive list hammered into us in school, and I never questioned it for a second. But prepare for a bit of mind-bender. We have more than 5. Scientists figure we have closer to 20 different senses, depending on how you classify them. Think about it. There's proprioception, your sense of where your body parts are in space without looking. You can touch your nose with your eyes closed. Equilibrioception, your sense of balance, stops you from falling over when you stand up. There's thermoception, your sense of temperature. Pain, nociception, is often considered a distinct sense. You even have a sense of acceleration and the passage of time to some degree. The idea of just 5 senses comes from ancient Greece, primarily from Aristotle, and it just stuck around for thousands of years. But our brains and bodies are doing way more complex sensing than that simple list implies. I imagine my brain internally rolling its eyes. 5 senses? Please, I'm running 20 different sensory input channels right now, trying to keep this operation going. So yeah, give yourself some credit. You're sensing much more of the world than you probably thought. And there you have it. 10 common facts that are just totally wrong, from fears about TV distance to the number of senses we possess. It's wild how stubborn these myths can be, right? But imagining frogs giving warts and bulls seeing red felt pretty fun. What about you guys? What's the strangest or most ridiculous myth you ever genuinely believed? Drop it in the comments below. I am dying to hear your stories. And hey, if you enjoyed this little myth-busting adventure, please hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more weird and excellent debunking coming your way. Let's keep laughing and learning together, yeah? All right, catch you in the next one.